This is an EWB production. Hi, I'm Emmy Birch.
And I am Sandy Thornton, and this is the Take Us With You podcast.
Hey, Sandy, what's the Take Us With You podcast all about?
So glad you asked. In a sea of badness coming out of every news station, let's provide some light, laughter, and levity to this strange time we are living in.
I'm so glad that we're going to be going with you wherever it is you're going. Thanks for taking us with you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Take Us With You podcast. I'm Emmy.
And I'm Sandy.
And this is episode 3.
We have made it. We've made it to episode 3. This is a very big deal for us. So, Emmy,
so proud of us.
I am too. I think that we have arrived, world. Watch out. So let's talk a little bit about how our weeks have gone. It's been a little bit since we've had a conversation together. So tell me, what is new in your world?
Weeks since we've talked.
I talk to most people, P.S.
Me too. Classes are great. All of my students are thriving. Choir rehearsals are still virtual, but we're having a great time. We're surviving. Ooh, and I rhymed. What? I think this is going to work for today. I have all the one-liners ready for you.
You're ready. This is
a little teaser of what's to come as we pump up the jams. I have these one-liners.
The jams.
Yeah.
Say that without singing that song.
I don't think it's possible. There's a couple of those. But other than that, things are going great. We're staying in a lot. There's a lot of cases around our area, and so life is good as it can be when you're in the time that we're in. How about you?
Yes, same. We're chugging along. I mean,
how are all the little munchkins that you have? How are your roommates?
Right. All of my roommates are hanging by a thread. So I am also doing online rehearsals for the children's choir that I work with, the youth choir. And we had rehearsal last night and I'm wrapping it up. And I'm like, okay, so this hasn't gone terrible. I'm pretty proud of myself. Yay, kids. Yay, me. Hot diggity damn. And then all of a sudden, like World War III erupts outside this room. Now, this house is a 1963 construction. The walls are thin. The insulation is not great. And all of a sudden I hear like that. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew that there was a brawl. And so all the kids are looking at me like wide-eyed, like, what's happening at your house? Are you in a safe space? I'm like, hang on. And I run out the door and scream at my kids. God help.
Did you mute? Did you mute before you ran out?
No, I should have. I have a new computer and I don't quite know where all the buttons are. So I was just like, whatever, this is real life. This is unprecedented times. We would never do this in actual rehearsal. So yes, we're great. They're great. They're still having school in my dining room. They're supposed to go back to a hybrid learning model on February 1st. So we'll see how that. It's purple. So why not?
No one's died. You're okay. Everyone's still showing up. We had our first, so my guys group, tennis, golf, swimming, they have them all. So we have guys rehearsal on Mondays, but I wanted to give them a virtual only option, a different day of the week in case a game came up or a practice came up. So the only time that worked with their schedule is 8:00 on Tuesdays. So I go to bed.
In the morning or the PM?
The PM, like the pumpkin time when I turn into a pumpkin and go to sleep.
Both are bad options. Both are bad.
So funny. So I go to run club, I get my little run on, I come home, I shower, and so we're getting set up and I ask them their goals for the day because that's what I start the guys with. What do you want to achieve today based on this rubric? And I said, well, my goal is to not fall asleep and to keep you engaged and to successfully meet your goals. Also, just get ready. I will never have makeup on for this rehearsal. And this one 5th grader pushes the button to raise his hand in Zoom. So what am I looking for that looks different? Because you look the same. And I'm like, yes, I love you forever. Did I push record? Did I get that in recording?
Okay.
It was so good. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm on cloud 9. Thank you.
Yes, that is amazing. So sometimes we just need those little pump ups.
Yes. Oh,
jam.
Yes. Good calling with that. Okay. I do have a pretty good dad joke as we're talking about like all the pump ups and stuff.
Yes.
I
think of you whenever I hear jokes now.
A good dad joke. So I really think it's important to engage your whole body, especially when your mind is in a funk. And we'll talk about that more later. But here's my joke. I would like to thank my legs for supporting me. I would like to thank my arms for always being by my side. And I would like to thank my fingers. I could always count on them.
I feel like that is the joke. So my kids have knock knock jokes. They have like books and books of jokes. And that is a joke that would be in their book. That's fabulous.
This would be another one of my dad jokes from my father. So thanks, Eric. Thank you for the
Thank
dad
you,
jokes.
Eric. Eric, we need Eric on the podcast
Oh,
sometime.
don't worry. It will happen. He showed up early to the guys' rehearsal Monday to teach him a tag that he sang in high school. It was adorable. Anyway, enough of that. It's so
Love it.
much fun to have the jokes. I'm dying to hear your news article today.
Oh, me too, because I haven't read it before this moment. I read it in my head, not out loud. So it's a grab bag of what's going to pop out of my mouth. We know I have no filter.
I have no idea what this is. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So this is from a little bit farther back. This is from November 11th, 2020, but it is this. And you may have seen it on Google or wherever you get your weird news. Woman in only underwear and a t-shirt forces plane to divert from Texas to Alabama. She appeared to be intoxicated, authorities said. It's probably a good idea to wear pants on an airplane. A flight headed to Houston was forced to land early in Alabama last week to deal with a passenger who was allegedly acting unruly. When the plane landed, the woman was reportedly only wearing a t-shirt and underwear. Like, that's a lot of airplane cocktails. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Okay, so my first thought was what flight attendant thought it was appropriate to continue feeding this guest?
Clearly intoxicated, like clearly drunk off your butt. Yeah.
Unless what if the person came onto the plane a little bit on the tipsy side? 'Cause,
Yep.
flying in November of 2020 was still a little scary.
Yes,
I'll
it
give
was.
her that.
It is still. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the
Where
times in
did
my life where I've
her
removed my
pants
clothes.
go?
What?
Where did her pants go?
Yeah, maybe a
And
little
what
bit.
did she currently have? Like, was she one of those people traveling with like the sweater and the leggings, or was she full on like business work mode? She had to take off all the blazer and
He had on full butt underwear. That's all I'm gonna say.
oh, well,
Uh,
tequila might have made her clothes fall off.
Tequila does that to all of us.
I got another liner in there. I'm so proud of myself. I'm
Okay, so
ready to crank that.
yes. A spokesperson for the Commute Air confirmed to Fox News that the incident occurred on one of the airline's flights, which was operating as a United Express flight at the time from Jacksonville to Houston. Where's Jacksonville,
Oh,
Florida?
that's the problem. She was coming from Jacksonville. No offense, Jacksonville. We love you. You're great. You have an IKEA. You're 2 hours from me, and I love you, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's right on the corner of right on the corner of Georgia and Florida by the water.
Okay, but
Two
it is
hours from
Florida.
Tallahassee. Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida. 2 hours from Tallahassee, 2 hours from Savannah. It's one of those cities, kind of like Kansas City, where it's a massive landmass city. Like it's just super spread out. 20 minutes to get everywhere.
Yep.
Perfect for take us with you.
It is perfect. It is perfect for Take Us With You.
Mhm.
Jacksonville, we're talking to you. Okay. Moving forward. See, oh, they put her name in. Okay. Sierra Nicole McClinton. I need to look her up. I'm gonna look her up and post her on the Instagram. Is facing charges of disorderly conduct and public intoxication. Fox
I
10
feel
TV.
so bad for her. I mean,
Yeah, nobody
poor
knows
life decisions, but there's your name, girlfriend.
this is your legacy. According to reports, McClinton got into an altercation with another passenger on the flight. It was Jerry Springer on the airplane. Oh, I wish
Oh,
I could get a fly on the wall. Oh, when
with the mask.
what clearly, yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't get into an airplane right now, but yes. Um, when a flight attendant could not calm her down, McClinton was detained until the plane could divert to Mobile, Alabama. So when you're unruly on an airplane, there's only so many places you can be detained. Did they strap her into like the place where the flight
I'm
attendant
guess
was?
they okay. So here's the first thing I thought. Like, yeah, okay, they're probably trained to do detainments of unruly passengers. What did the pilot have to say to air traffic control?
Like, we're landing now. We have an unruly. I
We
don't
need
know.
a divergent, unruly passenger who's lost her pants.
I, I mean, yes, when we drink, our inhibitions are like thrown out the window. But I've never taken my pants off in public.
No, thank you. I have nightmares about that.
I think other people would have nightmares if I pulled those kind of shenanigans. Oh my God.
So
Okay.
wait, who pays that? Like, I bet she has to like pay the fines to then get like gas to get the airplane back up in the air. The diverting, like, think of all
Sure.
those unhappy
Oh
people
my
that
God.
were.
You just pissed off an entire airplane. Like, they are not your friends now. I mean, I'm sure they weren't when she got on, but definitely not now. So,
I
okay,
wonder if she was
authorities
in first class or if she was in, comfort or if she was main cabin.
coach like the rest of us plebeians. Yeah, I don't know.
Was she the middle seat? Oh.
That's the worst. Okay, so authorities said that McClinton appeared to be intoxicated. Well, there's a shocker. When she arrived in Mobile, she allegedly continued to disobey their commands and yelled obscenities. According to Fox 10 TV, the Mobile Airport Authority Police Department said McClinton caused the initial disturbance on the plane. In a statement to Fox News, a spokesperson for the Commute Air said, Commute Air Flight 4332, operating as United Express from Jacksonville to Houston, diverted to Mobile when a passenger became disruptive. The aircraft landed safely in Mobile, where the law enforcement officials met the aircraft at the gate. The flight continued on to Houston shortly thereafter. Not really the ending I was looking for. I was hoping there'd be more, but
You know what? That's what the social's for. We're gonna be social and Googling her, right? Well,
I,
you are.
I
You're
want
good
to
at
see.
that.
I want to see what she looks like. So I'm gonna look her up. I'm
I
just
wonder if
curious.
she lost her job over it or any of those type of crazy things. I wonder what the
I, I
repercussions
don't
are.
wish. I don't wish that on anyone. But I mean, most companies you can't say anything bad about them without the fear of losing your job. Like,
But then what happens? She's in Mobile. How did she get A to Houston or B back home to Jacksonville? And
that's
how, oh, this is like our alligator man from last episode. What possesses you to do this?
I just wonder, like, have you ever had too much to drink and gotten really hot? Like, it's never forced me to take my clothes off ever. But also, like, if she is,
I can't feel my face when I'm with you. I got another one. I got another one. I'm on it.
we're getting crunk. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I think that's a term from the early 2000s. That's
Okay, well, I'm like the whitest white girl I know, so there it is. So that's the news of the week. Again, belated news to be sure, but
That's okay. This was a good one. It makes me very thankful for the world that we find ourselves in right now. I feel like I have been successful. All my clothes are on today. I even put on jeans for you, and I have a pair of really cute shoes beside my chair.
I'm wearing my slippers, but that's also fine. And this is why my family and I will not get on planes. We just drive everywhere because we are Midwesterners, and that is what Midwesterners do.
That is okay.
Not a big deal to drive 10 hours.
I am really excited because I saw or heard that you posted on the Facebook and the Instagram asking for people's things that they hate that everyone else loves based on our episode number 2. But you know how I couldn't think of something? I thought of something. I mean,
Okay.
I still really dislike it when there's a non-creative menu at a restaurant. Like if you're going to have a restaurant, get a creative menu. But for real, I don't like marinara sauce on my pasta. And
Do you like period? Do you like marinara?
sometimes, yes, like I like it on my vegan meatballs, or I like it sometimes as like a dipping sauce for something, but I don't want it to ruin my pasta. Also, I don't like chili, and I think it's because it resembles red sauce.
Okay. So friends at home that can't see me cocking my head to the side like a very confused spaniel. How?
I don't know, but I think I blame my sister. Shout out to my awesome sister. We used to come home from school and make like those egg noodles and cover them in butter and salt, and we just loved our
Those
pasta
are
that way. So I think that we tainted my ability to like red sauce. And come to think of it, I think I used to like scrape all the red sauce off my pizza back when I ate pizza and then put the toppings back on it.
Now, does Abigail, excuse me, does she eat sauce?
I think so. There was a time she didn't like ketchup, and I thought that was strange. And I do somewhat like ketchup, preferably homemade ketchup with lots of spice in it. Um,
Mhm.
but no red sauce on my pasta, thank you, and
Like the
no
one thing
chili.
you cook. That's oh my gosh, yeah. Like that's the one thing. So my husband is the cook in our house. I think we've mentioned this before, but and like I will cook the I can cook the big meals, like the big holiday hoopla meals, but he is our day to day, and because he's better than me, and why struggle when somebody's better than you in your house that can cook? But
Compromise.
I do the red sauce, and we have usually like spaghetti or zoodles at least once a week, and it's homemade sauce.
My
And
husband's favorite meal is spaghetti, and his favorite genre of food is Italian. So I just always make the pasta and make the red sauce and make whatever else. Usually olive oil and some garlic is what I eat on mine. But we're also eating like chickpea pasta these days instead of those cheapo egg noodles.
yeah, so yeah, that is something I'd like to try. Chickpea pasta. I've never
Ooh, I'll
tried it.
send you some. I have a fave.
Okay, so
Anyway, I was super proud of myself. I found something that I legit do not like.
my mind is blown. blown. My mind is blown. I'll process this all day. All right. Well, good. Yeah, that's legit.
I'm
All
proud
right.
of myself. I made a decision. Tell me what the listener said. I've been dying to hear. What did they say?
So I got a handful of responses. I really thought this was going to blow up like wildfire, but I don't think everybody on Facebook has black hearts like I do. So I didn't get too many responses.
It really did take me a long time to figure out what I hate that everyone else loves. That took a hot second, like a few weeks.
Hey, but here we are. We made it. So, okay. My mother, Linda Prell, shout out Linda if you're listening. She just learned how to listen to podcasts, so we're very excited for her.
Good job, Mama.
She said she doesn't like mushrooms, and the reason she does not like them, and I think like mushrooms, that's fair. I feel like a bunch of people maybe don't like mushrooms.
What?
I'm not one of them.
Staple food groups.
Yeah, I am not, but like I have friends that don't like it. And she says she doesn't want to eat anything that an animal may have peed on. But my response to that is, isn't that all vegetables? Isn't there a potential to get animal urine on every vegetable? And isn't that why you wash them?
You wash them and you cook them very well.
Yeah. And like, granted, I know mushrooms are kind of porous, so maybe that's her beef, but it
Okay,
just
random factoid I learned from a girlfriend who what got her undergrad in nutrition. You have to cook mushrooms forever. Like you think they're done, keep cooking them.
I didn't know that.
There's like a process. She did mushrooms in my house one time. Best mushrooms I've ever had. Cooked them about 4 times longer than I've ever cooked mushrooms. You have to like get all the liquid out of them and get them all the way down, and then they really cook and become that amazing flavor.
Oh wow. Because I like the umami flavor of a mushroom. I think that's what I like more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like their texture. Anyway,
Thanks, Mama. That was a good one.
that was a good one. So Julie Falcone, who is my best childhood friend. So shout out to Julie if you're listening. She can't stand bacon. Now I know I'm talking to a vegan right now, so you're probably like, yes, obviously I'm on board. But
I'm fully aware the rest of the world loves bacon.
The rest of the world, it's another like head cock moment. Cause like we try to put bacon in everything in my house.
It's a very special day when I let Spence make bacon because it makes the whole house stinky.
It does. Like delicious pork. Yeah, you're right. It does.
I'm with you, girlfriend. I'm not in the category of bacon.
She says she doesn't like it because the scent and kind of the flavor will permeate your house and then every dish that you cook it in. And she can't even be in the house when her husband's cooking it.
I'm there for it.
So do you leave your house too?
Well, I try not to be around. My parents have gotten really great at cooking the bacon in the oven, so it's not quite as bad. That doesn't bother me as much. And if I'm ready for it, like if I know it's coming, I'll like go for a run and get some type of like shake outside. So I'm not hungry or sick to my stomach when I walk in.
I think that's key. Yeah, that is key. Yeah, so no to bacon from Julie. And then my sister-in-law, Heather Thornton Young, says she doesn't like friends. Not like companions, but like
Gotcha.
Exactly. And so and I agree, like most people do like Friends. I kind of nothing Friends. I neither love it nor hate it. I'm right in the middle. Like if it's on, I don't mind watching it, but I don't ever say, Ken, let's watch season 2 in 1994 of Friends. Actually, I don't know when their seasons ran.
You know what show I do love? How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, my parents love that one. And so I've seen snippets, but I've never sat down for a full show of it.
Oh, the whole thing all the way through at least twice. I had episodes saved on my OG iPad. So when I had a rough night back in the early 20s, there was this episode called the Pineapple episode. Go watch the Pineapple episode. It'll make the home slice from the airplane feel better about herself.
Oh, yes. Okay, I will. That is something that I'll check out.
Pineapple episode.
But isn't that a show that you have to like, doesn't everything tie into one another? So you have to start it from ground zero and go all the way through. And if you try to catch it in the middle, like you're screwed.
Yeah, but the Pineapple episode will be very easy to jump into. It's very self-explanatory. I mean, you won't get all the love and emotion of knowing these characters from the beginning, but the gist of the episode and the humor of the episode, it's there.
Ah, awesome. That's how I feel about Scrubs. Did you ever watch Scrubs?
No, Scrubs and The Office.
Okay. Now, you can't. Is it because like you don't like the actors or?
I don't like that type of comedy.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm like, that was dumb.
Yeah, so Scrubs, I think of Scrubs back when I started my teaching career. I was
Ah,
in Texas and I on a whim was in like a Best Buy when those places existed. And I bought like season 1 of Scrubs. And every night after I would go home from work, I would put it in my computer and I'd watch it as I was going to bed. And
that's when I watched How I Met Your Mother, my
yeah,
first year of teaching.
yeah. And that so whenever I see an episode, it just kind of brings me back to that time. Uh,
Nostalgia.
yeah, it's very nostalgic. So
Oh,
interesting.
this is so interesting. Okay, are there any more?
No, those were it from just the people that responded on my Facebook query. And then, okay, so I also tried to post this on the Schitt's Creek original fan page because I love Schitt's Creek. So of course I'm a member of their fan page, and the administrators would not let me post the query. So listen up, administrators of the Schitt's Creek fan group. I feel like this would have exploded and I would have gotten so many more responses, so much more data to go off of. But you thwarted me and I hate you forever.
But it's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. We'll be okay. You know what
Uh-huh.
you need to get over that?
What?
You need a pump up song. Pump up.
Girl, you are not joking. All right,
I'm
let's get
so
into it.
excited for the conversation we're about to have. So, every week we try to bring you some type of little quick joke, some piece of news that is completely random to get your mind off of whatever's going on. We recap and then we bring you something new. And, research shows that if you have a procedure to get you pumped up or into that mindset of I can get stuff done, that you are more likely to do it even when motivation is waning, because discipline is what happens when motivation goes away. And if you can find the motivation to get disciplined, keep the discipline when motivation goes away, you can build a habit. So, there's your little
That's my new thing for this year.
self-help moment. So anyway, I'm a big believer in pump up the jams. But before we share our favorite pump up jams, if you are listening to this, research shows that your musical prime is between the age of 15 and 23, 26, depends on when you started your real career. So it's when you really started driving and being your own adult. So whatever was a hit in those years for you, that's going to be like your nostalgia rock star jam. If you don't believe me, go look up the really awesome documentary about iPods in assisted living homes, and they played music from the time that those patients were in their 15 to 20s, and it brought them back, and they had great conversation, and they were able to find that it's fantastic. Alive Inside is the name of the documentary. But I say all that because I have different pump up jam playlists based on am I pulling from my musical prime years,
Mhm.
or am I pulling from the current prime, or
Yes.
am I going even further back because I need someone to, rock and roll all night long? Or do I just need to
I like
move,
it with
get
the
out the
pun.
way, and get my stuff done? So I would love to know what your go to pump up jam is, my friend Sandy.
Well, thank you for asking. And I'm like you. Depending on my mood, depending on what I need for the day, I do have different playlists. But I find the biggest, like, I live in a house with many other people. It's always a mess life that I live is, it's cleaning. I am constantly picking up after people. I'm picking up after my 3 kids. I'm picking up after my husband. I'm picking up after myself. It's a hot mess. So I have a house clean mix that I go to that is pretty raucous. And I just, when I really need to like get it together and get it done so we don't all die from like squalor. Um, I have a few. So the first thing on my playlist is Bombastic by Bonnie McKee. Do you know who Bonnie McKee is?
Yes.
Have you listened to her?
Yes. I'm hearing it in my head right now. We would play it, but we follow copyright laws and
Yeah, we
restrictions.
don't want you to rat us out and get us busted with internet law. But
But don't
yeah,
worry if you haven't heard these songs, we're making playlists so you can find them on our Instagram.
oh, it's so good. And I just love that she's related to the McKees that we know.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one. And then so I use Amazon as my playlist. And every once in a while, I was telling Emmy before we started airing, it'll kind of allow me to put things on, but then it'll be like, nope, just kidding. And it'll take it off. So the one thing it took off was Good as Hell by Lizzo. That's another good one.
Yeah, so you have some like current jams. I know I keep going back to the research, but I really think it depends on where you grew up and what you have on your playlist. Like Soldier Boy
Mm,
and
yes, that's when I taught in Baton Rouge.
yeah,
Whenever I was in, like middle school, Woodlawn Middle School, man, Baton Rouge.
my high school days were in Baton Rouge, and so
Uh-huh.
my Getting ready, getting ready, getting ready, ready. Getting ready, getting ready, getting ready, ready.
We're
Not
ready.
that step now, road. I mean, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready.
I
New
love it.
Orleans hip hop every time. Anything you play New Orleans hip hop, I'm there.
Yeah,
I am there. Throw a brass band in with it too. Oh,
girl. You had quite the experience. Like I grew up in Central New York. We were not as colorful, like in terms of just all of the music and
school culture.
food and all the awesome stuff that you guys get down south. Like Ken was telling me the other day, he was reading me this joke. He goes, yeah, no one ever says, I want that good homegrown New York cooking or that northern cooking.
No.
And that's so true.
Oh,
Nobody
those Syracuse potatoes look really good.
oh,
Side note.
the salt potatoes. Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
We'll talk about those in a
Yes,
future episode
that
because
will
they
have to be
are
something to talk about.
all right.
So, my playlist, if I am in need of just getting out of a funk, it's going to be some type of New Orleans hip hop.
Mm.
But then I also really just love to ask the devices that listen. I don't want to say like, hey, blank, or the other one that starts with an A, because it might cause other people's devices to go haywire.
Oh, thank
I
you.
will ask them to play a 2007 top
Hmm.
10 or 2008 top 10, because that was right as I was transitioning into grad school and my first teaching jobs.
Yep.
So those were all the years of like Catch a Wall, Back It Up, like all. And
Oh,
that's when Justin Timberlake started doing all of his collaborations.
which I loved because I love him.
Right. So all of that to say, you don't have to have just one pump up song, but you have to know your go-to pump up song. So instead of sitting there wallowing in, I have so much stuff to get done, you can say, "Hey, play blank.
Hey,
Get out the way. Crank
play it.
that. Soldier Boy, I told ya." Or oh my gosh, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
Okay.
I guess now I'm getting into some Atlanta hip hop too, but Southern rap and hip hop was just my go-to get out of a funk.
So yeah, and isn't it funny? I often think so. I will play this, but then if I play the list I made, like I have a nostalgia playlist, right, from when I was a child growing up, and it just it zaps you back to that time. I feel like auditory things and then oil factory, like nose,
Mm-hmm.
and
Smells.
hearing will instantly transport you, and I think that's the coolest thing. And so like it'll bring you back to a time in your life where maybe you were a different person
Right.
because we evolve. We're always evolving, you know.
Right. And you can celebrate that. I heard a great quote that said, every single block that you stumble over, every single rock that you stumble over eventually becomes a stepping stone
I like
to
that.
where you're going. So
Yep.
to go back and to enjoy those rocks, those stumbling blocks. I
Mhm.
mean, I also call my playlist something different all the time. Like my playlist from when I first started grad school was called Crunk. Why? I don't know. I think I just needed to relish in the fact that I was surrounded by college kids again. And these were the songs that I remembered from college. And so, that has stuff like tons of old
Oh,
songs.
oh, yeah. So give me one more that's on your playlist that really pumps you up.
I want to click my Jam and Lift playlist. This is the one where when I'm running and I just need
Ah,
something, I will click on Siri and say, play Jam and List playlist. Let me pull it up on the here. And it starts with it's really quite hilarious. It starts with Little Nas X, Rodeo, or Rodeo, whatever you want to call it.
I
Goes
wrote
right into Billie Eilish, Bad Guy. And then because, sometimes you just need to really get through stuff, Black Bear's Hot Girl Bummer. And if you don't know that,
that one.
please go listen to that with the not explicit letter beside it. Like, go find the clean version of Hot Girl Bummer.
Get down with your bad self and listen to that explicit version, just not around kids.
But then the next song is, Galloway Girl by Ed Sheeran.
That is very diverse. That is very diverse.
And
That's
at the very bottom, Lauren Daigle.
Laura Daigle.
Shout out to Lauren's my sister's bestie. She is the most amazing musician and full of spunk and heart. But sometimes I just want to channel my inner, like, let me be unique in myself. And I feel like when I listen to Lauren Daigle, I feel her uniqueness and her power to be herself on this planet come through. And so
Right.
that usually is,
That's when you know, like, you have a good song on your hands.
yeah,
When you
yeah.
can say that about the writer or the performer. Yeah, I have, if you haven't listened to Blah, Blah, Blah by Armin van Buuren, do it. So a lot of this little playlist that I have, I got, I was watching the show Good Girls. Have you seen
Okay.
Good Girls?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's on, I believe, Netflix, and it's got oh, she was in Mad Men. She's got red hair. She's beautiful.
I know the
Her,
character. Yes.
she's the lead character, and just the playlist in that show is just it is top notch. I really loved all of it. So I literally did a little Google search and I was like,
Yes.
Good Girls playlist, and I pulled all of it, which is where I actually got Bombastic by Bonnie McKee. My
But see,
jam.
I think it's important for you when you're listening to music or when you're, figuring out what you want to do next in life to have the
Yes.
pump up song. I
Yes,
want
need
to know
it.
what just like we figured out what our listeners hate that everyone else loves. I am dying to know what your pump up song is.
Same. So remember, friends, you can slip that right into our DMs. Did you see what I did there, Emmy? I totally stole your phrase. You can also email us at takeuswithyoupodcast@gmail.com. I will be honest, though, I have not checked that email account in a little bit. So if you do, I'll be sure to check it.
Instagram's even better, but don't stop the music. You can also be fergalicious, you beautiful girls.
And I'll be MILFs.
We will make it rain. Like party like a rock star.
Oh, fabulous. All right. So that's kind of where we're at with these pump up songs. And I think that what I'm going to do is really leverage that this week.
I'm pretty ready to get to work. Like I feel pumped just
I know.
talking about the pump
I
up
feel
song.
good. I'm like, maybe I'll run on my treadmill. Maybe not.
Yes.
Maybe I'll fold some laundry.
Amp it up. Get the car still pumping.
The jam.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Those are great beat songs for running. Who am I to disagree?
Ooh, Emmy, what we'll have to do is eventually we'll have to make a running playlist too for our fans,
Oh,
our fans, quote unquote, our friends at
Hey,
home.
if you are still listening right now, we love you, and we are so glad that you have decided to take us with you. It's really fun to be your friends in your ears.
That's right. Pumping up the jam.
Pumping up the jams. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. Give us a follow over on Instagram. Take Us With You podcast.
Subscribe. Rate us, please.
Yes.
You can do that wherever you listen.
That would be awesome. Hey, we're so excited. I'm Emmy.
I'm Sandy.
And we'll see you next time on the Take Us With You